Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been one hell of an iconic showdown here in the winner bracket final, but it's going to be Na'Vi who claim the first matchup here as these dynasties do continue to battle it out. I'm back at the panel now, joined by the Allen brothers here. It's Ryu and Nahaz. Gentlemen, you have been hyped up for this match. We're all back here screaming, watching it, especially at the end, a heart attack with that rapier. It's been ridiculous, man. We got to take it back, though, all the way to the beginning. We knew at the start of this with the Na'Vi draft, going in for the Lycan, there was an expiration. We even threw out the time, 35 minutes. The job had to get done. Well, Na'Vi pushed it past 35 minutes and were able to survive. Now let's begin with the laning stage here. Nahazi wanted to make a big point about this. You know, the commitment for the bounty hunter and going to the mid lane does force Artstyle to be put into a side lane position, which is a bit, you know, unusual for Na'Vi as of recent and didn't lead to a lot of success, but it works here. Yeah. Why did it work here?
They just needed to get a lot of value out of the bounty hunter. And Seneko, known obviously for his bounty hunter and his wisp play, this is a hero that he's very comfortable with. This is a hero that Na'Vi are very comfortable playing around. But there was a lot of pressure on him because Artstyle was going to have to babysit Ditya, at least for the first couple minutes. They, however, as GoDz pointed out very accurately during the cast, they took a page out of LGD's playbook. LGD had been doing this so well with MMY, sending their carry into the jungle, sending their carry elsewhere on the map early in the game to give him the lane, get him that early blink dagger. Well, Na'Vi gave Artstyle a little bit of resources early on, and he really paid that back in spades.
Seneko, he did a really good job. Okay, so we're going to finally get some... You know, this is where the game kind of turned a little bit. I mean, this is when you see the smoke gank, they immediately sniffed it out. And then that's kind of like where LGD, they were kind of be put on the back foot where, you know, Na'Vi, they have this timing early on. And that's why we kind of gave them, 35 minutes to kind of win this game. But it was crazy how they were able to still win it later on. And in this team fight,
this was the one that
started with aggressive played way too aggressive, and then like he got mana burned. He wasn't able to remnant back. This is just another team fight where you say, "Hey, look at this, Dindy! Amazing plays going on right now." I think in the laning stage, well, we should just stick with these highlights. Actually, I like them all. They're and this is Zhao 8. He's gonna be doing a good job there, but then maybe he's kind of like overcommitted, and so they're having a very hard time. And this is a nice save. This is kind of when we see them group up here. This is when, he's at his best. Nice sonic wave from Dindy, but I thought September, if he had gotten this kill, that would have helped out tremendously. But this was when we were saying, okay, well, crap, Na'Vi, they've hit the wall. They're not going to be able to break the base. But then all of a sudden, they go to this high ground, and then they're able to chase down aggressive now. And this is kind of like when you're like, okay, aggressive, you might not be able to carry the game, right?
This game was just so dramatic because Na'Vi in these fights at the base they're getting just enough. They're getting 2 Ember Spirit buybacks.
Team fight,
they're just
Abyssal
pushing
Blade,
that window.
Watch Ember, right? This is the key thing. Abyssal to the face.
Boom.
And then you're going to have a roar.
Oh, the double roar was so huge.
You just can't do anything.
They paid so much respect, they left the tombstone of a rapier on the ground for him.
We're just screaming for the next, 3 minutes in here. It's right there.
That F-Blade play, keeping Zhao 8 alive, was so huge, but at the same time, getting that Ember kill is just like, it's game over. You have these mass summons coming out from LGD. This is kind of like garbage time when it's all over, but you just have these mass, mass summons.
This is a wolf with a rapier.
Oh,
Let's see you later.
Nice F-Blade there on myself, and then they're just going to go back off and
Now, it's just, I love this game so much because this was 2 teams both playing the style of Dota that has made these 2 brands famous in the early game. Na'Vi get those 2 4-hero wipes, but LGD, they're disciplined. They're taking just enough off those Na'Vi extensions, kind of bleeding Na'Vi in between those big engagements. And really, there was a point that I really thought that this was going to be a carbon copy of that last game by OG. Just the window was closing. Na'Vi, though, were getting just enough. They were able to get 2 buybacks on that aggressive Ember Spear, hold him back just enough, and then the key engagement where Navi's able to, well, after a few minutes anyway, pick up that rapier.
I want to talk about the early game once again, right?
Yeah.
General, we can go back a little bit because we were able to see the highlights there, but let's go back there. General, he fed like 3 times early on. He had a rough time there in the off lane, and that was kind of set up by September, whereas the Bounty Hunter didn't get anything accomplished mid lane besides, shutting down the DP CS a bit. And then, they traded kills on the mid lane, and then after that, we saw Artstyle rotating in, and even got a solo kill on the Bounty Hunter and that rune, which was amazing with the wolves and the howl and everything. So the Bounty Hunter didn't work out for the first 5 minutes, but then the next 5 minutes,
it paid for itself.
it paid for itself.
And that's what I love so much about this early game is that both teams were so aware of the trades that they were getting. You know, those 2 deaths for General, they're going to happen, right? He's against 2 heroes in that top lane. The Enchantress was spending a lot of her time rotating up, ganking through the river, coming up behind him, and that's going to happen because that Beastmaster does need to get his levels somehow, especially given that the Lycan is already in the jungle in the bottom part of the map. I just felt both teams were really good in the early game at understanding how they were allocating resources.
I thought they were just going to get heavily punished because Xiao 8 had level 6 at the same time as Lycan.
Yep.
And even a little bit before. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's going to have amazing time. He's going to have a fast blink dagger. But they get him like 2 or 3 times.
You know what, though? We had that discussion. Remember that? And we're both agreeing that that was really bad. What we didn't notice at that time, though, was that art style was getting levels too.
Yeah,
that was the big thing. It wasn't just the Bat Rider versus the Lycan. The Witch Doctor was getting XP too down there.
Not just levels. He was getting money too. He got that early Agnum Scepter. He put all of that wealth to use effectively. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's an Agnum's Death Ward just shredding apart LGD.
I mean, you can't even say Arstyle is the weakest player. I don't think you could have said that for like the past week for me. And it just proves, you know, he just gets so much out of the map now. He's becoming more like that Pylai Dias. Like, you know, he's like leading his team at times, and that's just really amazing to watch. He kind of goes for what we were talking with Fogged a little bit. He doesn't go any magic wand, no bracers. All right, he just has like brown boots into my Aether Lens, into my Ags. It's just so funny to watch how he does that. And then he just able to do like what we saw earlier, right? A boots blink dagger from a Lion at 8 minutes, right? It's kind of like the same with art style. And when you have these fast items, sure, sometimes we said, why is he using his Death Ward Ags just on the Enchantress? But that was kind of like the only hero they could initiate on. And so he was like, oh, if we get this Enchantress out, we can just be able to push more. And speaking out the Enchantress, you know, the way to counter Necro Books and the Lycan was just enchanting one of the creeps. But they had 2 heroes getting the Necro 3. And when you have 2 heroes like that, you're able to run all the creeps at the buildings, and then they were able to pressure. But I think the biggest thing for us is like high ground.
Yeah, over and over again. We talked about it. And like I said, Na'Vi was they were able each time to get just enough to push that window a little bit more open. And it was closing on him for like 15 minutes. It was really impressive to me to see them keep that game alive. I don't think that that's a game that this Na'Vi squad wins 6 weeks ago. I really don't. They have come so far in their ability and understanding of how to play around each other. And it takes me back to a conversation that I had with Dendi at TI5. And I said, look, man, I still think you're a world-class player. I don't listen to all this stuff, this hate you're getting from the community. I think you're a really good player. It's just not coming through the squad. And he said, you know what? We aren't playing efficient team Dota. When we're doing things like placing wards, when we're doing things like getting runes, those need to be things that we're doing on the way to other objectives. And we're not doing that. And he wasn't criticizing his teammates. He was saying we aren't playing around each other. And that's exactly the brand of Dota that Na'Vi are playing right now.
It really feels like more and more that they just certainly got a lot out of that Chinese boot camp that they must have went through or something. I mean, everyone feels like they're all doing their part tremendously. You got to also give credit to Ditya Ra. His Lycan play is just ridiculous. And the way he's able to utilize these wolves, the way that Na'Vi is able to utilize their map vision, spotting out that early smoke movement.
He scouted every single time with his wolves. I was like, what the? He scouted out, you know, Ember Spirit going over here. He scouted out, you know, Xiao 8 all the time, putting on it. And sometimes you see like, oh, crap, I can't blink now because a wolf is attacking me. He could get picked off at times. But I think the coolest thing in these long games that not many people talk about is just the itemization, right? You have so many different times to talk about it. Unfortunately, we can't because we got a draft.
Let's do it. Let's get into game number 2, man. That went so quick. It's just there's so much to discuss with this series already, but we're already got to get back into the Dota action now, folks. Game number 2 underway. Na'Vi going to be banning out the Doom and the Invoker. They hold first pick on Radiant side. LGD, get rid of that pesky Chen, and they will rid of the Enchantress.
Yep. Everything's just, as we talked about, those are the 4 you have to get rid of. You can only not get rid of the Enchantress if you're first pick for LGD. So Na'Vi, they can work with the Wisp if they really want to, or the Nature's Prophet from Ditya. They can... General does run it sometimes, but I just like their approach to the hero. And you have to kind of like say, okay, Na'Vi, they might get Wisp next. So you have to anticipate that now. So what do LGD want to go for?
I mean, cardinal rule number one is if you're going to pick a hero like this early in the draft, you've got to have a number of templates in place behind him. So you've got to have contingencies. I agree. We've seen Nature's Prophet in this tournament having much more success. But yeah, I would not mind a Bat Rider second pick at all, even though it gives away a lot of information. I think Navi's been that strong with this hero.
Could
what
see
about
them also pull out the Wisp.
LGD Bat here?
Oh, I wouldn't mind. Oh, my goodness.
I told you, man, that Ember. It's
what?
The highest contested hero in this tournament. You didn't believe me.
No, the Oracle is what.
Well, I guess that. No, you said what on the Ember Spirit. Get out of here.
Not at all.
Get out of here.
All right, we're off pretty fast here, gentlemen. So an early Oracle grab is a bit peculiar to me, certainly.
It's just so funny, right? Every player, I asked Loda about this. I asked a couple of the other players about this. I said, you know, teams are continuing to pick this Oracle. I understand the hero has some really interesting applications, but the results haven't been there. And he said, look, we just all feel, and the other players say this too, we all feel that there are combinations with Oracle that are flat out broken.
Yeah, no, this is a really good thing for shutting down the Nature's Prophet right now, if you think about it, right? You Fortune's End him, the Nature's Prophet in the laning stage. You catch up to him with the Ember Spirit. They're able to clear the creeps or the treants. This is going to force if the Nature's Prophet goes into that off lane where he can't stay there because of the Oracle and the Ember Spirit.
Yeah. I feel like it's got to be more so that they're planning on putting it together something else in the future part of their draft. Because why not just get like a Witch Doctor instead?
I'm just telling you what it gives you right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you everything, guys. I can't predict the
future.
future.
Get your breakdown. I think Dakota is right that ultimately there's got to be something else in this draft.
It might even
that
just
really
be that
backs
maybe
up
Death Prophet again or something.
No, I think
or secure themselves the Bat Rider.
Yeah, it's an easy ban. I like the Brood ban too. The Void ban's a little bit unusual, although Navi has run this in the past. Not necessarily hugely reliant on it in the past couple of weeks.
They use it a lot when Nature's Prophet, and then you can get something else with Dindy. They have to ban Wisp now for LGD. You just have to.
Yeah, I agree. I really do.
Maybe they're thinking about the Bounty Hunter too still. Like Bounties could be very annoying again. They're having a tough decision here.
Does Bounty fit in with this open as well as it did with the last one?
I still think they could pick it later. Okay, so giving respect to Ditya more.
Okay.
So you got to pick your poison sometimes.
Yeah, and LGD, I am shocked that hero is still on the table, but I mean I can't.
All the other
bans
are given.
Ban.
You would rather play against a Beastmaster than a Brood and DP. There's just no way you go against those heroes.
I don't know. With 3 heroes left to counter a Brood Mother, I would still have taken the Zhao Beastmaster off the table. And especially because the Chinese teams have shown that they're so effective. The 2 Chinese teams in this tournament, anyway, have shown that they're so effective running that hero in the jungle role as well.
I'm going to laugh when Navi just pick up Night Stalker right now and say, we are going to beat you at your own game. But no, it's the Wisp. Yeah,
and it's
so hard to do that. Like, it's Wisp or like it.
But both teams know what they're going to get. All right, and this is a hero that had made it through. So there you go. This is a hero that had made it through so many recent
that guy?
drafts.
I've never seen that hero before. Never in my pubs.
I haven't seen an World of Power in such a long time, but there he is, here and now.
Now, if nothing else, it really makes Navi certainly want to think twice about taking the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, Queen of Pain's. Well, the problem is Queen of Pain would get absolutely demolished in this 1v1 lane, but when you have the Wisp and Dindy, this is like their bread and butter. And
you think you go ahead and quap against this with the Wisp on the table?
I'm not necessarily saying they do that right now. But that's something they really love.
This is where they picked the Quap in the last draft.
They're still... I don't know. I don't want to see Bat Rider.
The last time Navi matched up against an OD, it was just a Death Prophet for Dendi at the time. I don't know if he was paired up with anything. He had an Earth Spirit actually by his side for that particular game. And funny enough, this will be the first time this tournament that Navi will be going against a Beastmaster here. So I wonder if they're going to give respect to the extra vision advantage that comes along with it.
Boy, and that's the thing that throughout the tournament, Beastmaster has looked so superior to Nature's Prophet in terms of what he's brought to these lineups.
I would really love a Night Stalker from Navi. Maybe then it's kind of hard for them to run. I still think they want to run Ditya in the safe lane with Nature's Prophet and just go all out early game aggression. They've always run it where Nature's Prophet is that semi-carry builder into the later stages of the game. So I think he's going to be able to outright click the Ember Spirit until a certain point, right? If it's getting 35 minutes in the game, then aggressive's going to have a lot more impact than the
You can
profit.
still just you can still just dit your Bat Rider.
No, I said
Run
Bat
the Bat
Rider,
Rider
but
IO
it's
dual lane.
okay. You have Oracle, and you also have a lot of the vision coming out.
I mean, you run that Bat Rider IO dual lane. You've been so good in the laning phase with that. You got the Dit Your Rod, Nature's Prophet. You leave Denny's Hero for last. No, you're not sold? You're not sold.
I would really like Night Stalker over that. Okay, so we would have never guessed that.
So, no, it was actually one of the heroes I was thinking about, but it's kind of in the same vein of the Quap. Without the Wisp, you don't necessarily want to run that against the OD. With the Wisp.
Now that you have Wind Ranger, it's just a lot better with it. And then it scales really good into the later game where it's like, oh, well, we can actually pick off the Ember Spirit solo now with Dendi if he has a Blink Dagger plus Ags and any damage item. So might force him to go for a Lincoln Sphere later on in the game. But yeah, and then talking about the laning stage now, Wind Ranger with her, Wind Run, it can get up in your face now with the OD. I really like it. So are LGD gonna pick like a? There's still an Earth Spirit left.
There's still an Earth Spirit. There's still
Bounty.
a Lion out there.
Well, we got to talk about two options, right?
It's
because
either Earth Spirit or Bounty, I think.
There's the hard support, or there's the surprise offlaner bumping Beastmaster to 4.
No, you have to just Beastmaster off lane and Oracle Ember safe lane.
Yeah,
and then you
I
give
kind of
help
agree.
to OD. Well,
So this is an Earth Spirit or a Lion for LGD.
no, Bounty. Earth Spirit or Bounty.
Earth Spirit or Bounty. Okay. And then for Na'Vi, we need the big Dit Your Ra hero, or we need an surprise offlaner.
Yeah, they think it's going to be an off lane.
Yeah.
Just the way that Na'Vi plays.
So, I mean, general
have to
hero.
take
Not
out-
too many general heroes left.
I think if you're Na'Vi, you take out ES. It's more scary than the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, you take it the years. Yeah, I agree.
Is it
Brings
too late?
so much to
What if
the table.
LGD go with a 4-position Night Stalker themselves and do that double vision game that we saw from VG Game of Reborn?
It's not necessarily bad. Okay.
And they think it's going to be a support, which I agree. I think they go ahead and take the Lion. Earth Spirit's on the table, though.
Yeah, Earth Spirit could be the grab here.
Come on.
Okay.
Oh, a debut in the tournament. and the
Oh,
quick
yeah,
draw!
dude, we
Pickup is
did
gonna be
it!
coming
We
out.
did it!
Oh, my
Finally
God.
one game.
Okay, Na'Vi continuing their high-tempo pace here,
All
racing
right.
against the clock against LGD.
I hate it when you call Drow Ranger 100 games and not for this last. Dang it, man.
I'm gonna pick.
Oh,
I'm gonna pick
it's all
with
in.
my
This is
heart.
Na'Vi. This is 100% Na'Vi right now.
Na'Vi.
They have just. It's gonna just crap all over OD right now.
All right, Allens, we got Na'Vi for you. I'll mix it up. I'll pick.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Dakota.
game.
I'll
Don't
pick
do
LGD.
it.
I'll pick LGD.
Okay,
Davids,
you
we
did
want
it.
to hear what you have to say. Let's throw it over to the casters right now in the Cyber Sport Arena.
When in Kiev, blindly root for Na'Vi. It seems Na'Vi Fever.
That's the Ryu Boris plan.
Na'Vi Fever
100%.
has taken over Ryu Boris.
100%.
I don't even want to know what they did to him in that room while that game was going on. They set him straight. Threats were made. Bottles were broken.
I went to grab some water between the games. As I walked past to get the water, Na'Vi were actually blocking the way, and 4 of them were there, standing outside the panel room. Dendi wasn't there, so I don't know what Dendi and Ryu were doing inside that room, but
Whatever they were doing, apparently it worked because they took game number 1. Here we are, game 2 of the best of 3. Na'Vi pulling out the Drow. And LGD, the even more crazy pick, Ogre McGee.
Yeah, Ogre's actually the surprise here for me. It fits the bill. Like the Rio was talking about, get Bounty or get Earth Spirit. And it's a similar kind of vein where you roam around, you're a bit of a bully and a bruiser. Has the added benefit of being able to beef up the OD with Bloodlust as well. So curious to see what they can get out of this. But Drow Ranger Aura, Venge, Prophet, the mid lane alone with an IO Wind Ranger is going to be miserable for the OD. This is going to be a tough early to mid game for LGD.
And I think, GoDz, the biggest worry here for LGD is unless this Ember is insanely farmed, they do not have much D-push. They have axes, they have Sleight of Fist. And
Their
that
D-push is killing Na'Vi.
basically
Running in at Na'Vi and killing their hero.
So basically they have to Na'Vi.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
And that is not the LGD style. They like to sit back, chill, like use their, like defend high grounds in like a slow, methodical fashion. No, you got to go in, otherwise Na'Vi will melt your buildings in no time at all.
Runes are about to spawn here. Seneko deviating from the crit build on the IO, going for the classic, just bottle rush it seems. He'll get his bounty rune and be bringing that bottle out soon. So it will be an interesting dual lane here mid, at least to start. Dendi on the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, and
Had a
interesting not
great
giving Dendy
performance
the...
on this here earlier in
They're
this
so
tournament.
confident in their lanes, they're not giving Dendy a bounty rune. That really speaks a lot to just Navi's draft and overall strategy. So...
But Ogre will help at least at first. So
Yeah,
2v2, not gonna just give Dendy the free bully advantage.
He's got to. There's already Dro, True Shot, Precision Aura leveled up, and this is just a brutal lane stage. But the problem is Ogre's mid. That means Nature's Prophet has a 1v2 with Treants. Treant's just gonna follow MMY around, harass him, and General should be able to farm, at least get some decent amounts of levels as well as last hits in this top lane.
Yeah, but Aggressive wants to get him out of here. He does opt for the level 1 Flame Guard, does a lot of damage. The Magic Absorb is very poor, but no way for a Nature's Prophet to remove it. So it will be pretty effective early on. Overall laning setup, GoDz, we can, I think, start at the bottom lane and work our way around. Where do you see the advantages for each team?
So Na'Vi, they should win the bottom lane. Na'Vi, they should win the mid lane. Na'Vi, they should probably win the top lane too, LD.
All right, so you're seeing a clean 3-0 sweep across all the lanes here.
It really is, like, as far when I say like win like a lane like a Nature's Prophet in 1v2, where in general is going to get farm and levels out of this lane. He'll get what he needs, and then he'll be able to get active on the map with his phase boots, teleport around, and be active. Mid lane, Wind Ranger with Droor and the IO support should be able to trade harass. Last hit pretty well. Odie's done a good job at least getting a couple CS here and there, but his CS has come from using Astral. He has to Astral Dendy just to secure last hits. Xiaowei actually, okay, correction, I think Xiaowei will do all right in this bottom lane. He's already shown an ability to get a decent amount of CS and farm, although that may not continue once Dro gets a few more levels. Right now, Dichara not leveling anything up at level 2. Curious to see if he's going to go for Frost Arrows or not.
You know, I was about to ask you, did they take you aside after Ryu Boris, but I think Xiao8 shot you a dirty look as you looked over your shoulder and you changed your tune real quick. Yeah. But on a more serious note, September now, grabbing a haste rune, rambling about from mid to top, and may connect here for a potential first blood. General, he does sense it coming, but they're stun as well as ignite. If he can get the body blocks, a couple of auto attacks, they go for the snare, the chains are there, and LGD club down the NP. Quick first blood, and this is what Ogre does best, hit things.
That's a dream rune right there. He knew the Ogre was rotating with the mid ward towards that top rune, but it was the one rune that allowed Ogre to get their top lane faster. If that's any other rune, he lives. Even in Invis, I believe he lives because he was retreating at the exact right time to reach his tower and reach safety before Ogre gets there, unless Ogre's hasted. So a bit of misfortune coming General's way. I think he actually played that really well.
Oh. Very successful there as Suneko sees the Ogre lumbering back towards mid and decides to tether off the hill, playing back, playing safe. Looking at CS here, it is, as you would expect, an advantage early on for Na'Vi with the Drow Aura and a total of 5 ranged heroes. Not that Io is going to be doing a whole lot of right-clicking, but they will look to use this Aura being maxed out for De'Yara.
Oh, yeah. Goes for Frost Arrows. I really like the level up Frost Arrows build. I think you can bully the melee heroes out of the lane a bit better. It just gives you a lot more kill potential, and they will be going for kills fairly early on with the Nature's Prophet rotations that will be available. So having that extra bit of kill potential does mean you maybe are squishier. You don't have a couple stat points. You perhaps have a bit less damage coming out from your aura, but Frost Arrow is a very valuable spell when being aggressive.
They want to make a move on Suneko, trying to gun him down, but the shackle's there from Dendy, keeping him alive, turning on to Baby, engages forward. How is the Zio still alive? Suneko playing with LGD, and in the end, it is a kill. General rotates it and secures it. Really thought they had him there. Dendy fishing, though, as he gone in too far. Suneko's bottles come in. The tether heal brings him up to full HP, but this time they snare him again. Is there any mod on Sep? There's not. And Na'Vi, where LGD see a kill, Na'Vi see an opportunity for Suneko. Somebody kill that damn Io. LGD finally will, but if General can just get that one last on attack, he will. 3-2 the score. I mean, that could have easily been 2 extra kills the other way. LGD very close to getting a huge lead there, but these small advantages are snowballing heavily for Na'Vi.
And with a lineup like this, you don't want to give away small advantages because they quickly turn into very big advantages as Dichara approaches level 6, has his treads. That aura really amps up once he has marksmanship, and that's where Na'Vi snowball. Phase boots up on Nature's Prophet. Wouldn't be surprised. I think, Dendy's has phase boots as well, so that extra right click, that extra mobility is coming, and the right-click damage alone is going to be something LGD struggle to deal with.
I want to point out, Dendy actually opted for the level 2 shackle shot there. Usually you just see the power shot getting leveled up first, but You know, GoDz, that extra level made the difference. Otherwise, the IO gets hit one more time, and I'm pretty sure dies. His bottom lane, they have moved on to Xiao 8. Beastmaster down for the count. It's General again, sprinting the trap, rotating, and setting up kills. This man's all over the place, but it does mean Aggressive gets a free lane. 31-6 now on the CS.
It's like, how scared are you of Aggressive getting a free lane? Dro, with the silence, has got some ways of dealing and controlling with Ember Spirit. You'll have the shackle shot as well later on.
Yeah, with the blink eventually that we heard from Ryu Boros.
It's not a game where Na'Vi are scared of an Ember Spirit unless they fail to hit their timings, which is going to be that fast early, take all their towers, 20, 25 minutes in, be pushing higher ground with an Aegis. So at that stage, best case scenario, Ember has a Battle Fury as his one item, but I don't think Battle Fury alone is going to be scary enough for Na'Vi to really worry about the fact that worry about him getting a free lane right now. They don't need to contest his lane because of how well everything else on the map is going.
They found the Director and just enough of a body block there from Artstar to allow Dityara to get enraged. They really want the Sprout, but instead it's Aggressive, rotating bottom, living up to his name, diving into Na'Vi and diving back to the well. Xiao Wei 2, they all live. He underestimated the raw damage of a Drow Ranger 4 ranged lane, and he got punished.
Yeah, he went all in with the triple aggressive Remnant. Probably had to because of his mana pool. Most likely didn't have mana to a Remnant in, do as much damage as he could and Remnant out, since early on you don't have the mana pool for it. But ultimately an unsuccessful rotation, but the kind of play he needs to make. He can't just sit top lane farming idly and expecting that like a Battle Fury is going to turn the game around. The way to turn this around is through fighting.
There is no Ember Spirit here to help, and they see MMY, they punish him. Again, it's General. This guy's just winning all the lanes right now. Maybe Dendi gets punished mid, but the IO of Seneko sticking around as a tether soon. It's too late. LGD finally something cleanly going their way. They do get a kill mid, but overall, this has just been the General show. I mean, you could talk about the Drow Ranger, Dendi having a good shackle and great IO play, but more than anything, GoDz, moving around the Nature's Prophet is what has put Na'Vi up 3,000 gold, 2,000 experience at 7.5 minutes.
This is without taking a single tower yet, and that's going to quickly start happening around the 10-minute mark.
Aggressive diving in once more. Flame Guard's there. He's used his last Remnant to engage, and it's right into a stun from Artstyle. Heavy physical damage. Chains, juking, looking to retreat. Oracle trying to finish him off. There's the Sprout. Gets the kill. Another death for Aggressive. MMY able to back away, though. So it is a 1-for-1, a core for a core.
Aggressive gets the XP since he stayed alive for the Prophet death, but it's still, to me, that's the one here on LGD's side who's farming and doing okay. Trading his life for the off-lane core and Nature's Prophet, not worth it.
Looks like they wanted to go and Dityara, maybe. Astral him, they have the Hawk to get vision up the hill, and they move in with the Orb, laying into that squishy Drow Ranger. Toby's tears were shed as she falls.
High-value kills for LGD, and getting the Drow Ranger specifically on the OD. Really helping out maybe. He needs to just get as many stat cost-effective items as possible. The treads, drums into some kind of, I almost want to say Blink Dagger just for the initiation factor. Oh, Aggressive forced to Remnant back defensively. They're chasing him though.
There's the stun. He's out of Remnants. He's been chewing through these like a kid through candy bars. And it will cost him Seneko, plinking him down.
A double damage IO with
the
Drow
IO.
Aura. Well, he didn't have the Drow Aura for the kill actually. He's a plus 106 damage. Casual.
As an IO. You know, this is one of the most deceptive heroes when it comes to DD runes, but the ball just glows a little brighter. And now 5 out of the top 6 are on the side of Na'Vi. The gold stacking up the Shackle on mid. It's Dendi again. Level 3 Shackle. Level 1 power shot. Just fully relying here on the right-click damage and the Drow Aura.
Yeah, I actually love it. It fits perfectly with the overall game plan for Na'Vi. The one thing they maybe lack is that initiation tool or ability to lock heroes down. Damage is not an issue whatsoever, so power shot becomes much less needed than just the raw lockdown that Shackle Shot provides.
And with Focus Fire, you're going to hit hard, even without the Aghanim Scepter. We see Dendi grabbing Gloves of Haste. Last time it was a Maelstrom. Feels like that up-tempo type of game where Na'Vi just want to get cheap items to let them fight right here, right now. And, well, they have seen a hero. The Ogre lumbers in. GoDz, this Na'Vi push machine is picking up steam.
Yes. 1 tower quickly became 2 towers, is quickly going to become either a 3rd tower or a Roshan.
How do they stop it? Where do they start?
That is a question I'm still like scratching my head trying to find answers
Well,
for.
September runs in. He does get off a stun. He's Astral to keep him alive. Aggressive lurches forward, but again, he finds himself on his own. Silence, nearly dead. Can the Oracle save him? MMY, oh God, that's a lot of focus fire. He's about to pop 2 hero chains, and see you later. Down he goes, 3 for 2. Xiao 8 trying to equal the score. The board's working on art style. At least that's not going to give up a huge gold bounty, but now Xiao 8 nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Na'Vi again, 4 heroes down and looking for a 5th. There's the TP from General. Seems MMY 2 likely to fall. The Sprout comes through. No tangos, no escape. It's a wipe. Na'Vi again and again, just relentless but very well thought out aggression.
And the thought process continues with the mech pickup coming next for General. They want to be able to sustain these fights and pushes. They've got the Urn on the IO. They just didn't have the best mech candidate apart from the Nature's Prophet, so he'll go straight into that. And you've got to imagine, for LGD, it's like we can either just give up a free tower, or we can take a fight, probably lose it, but at least they don't get a tower to fall. I think a fight like that is ultimately the kind of right approach from LGD. It's not a great outcome. It's actually, it's a terrible outcome. They lose 5 heroes, only get 2 kills, but they have to fight into Na'Vi because it slows down the push. Even if it's a slightly unfavorable trade, that's going to be LGD's best kind of approach to this game. Look for those 2 for 2s, 2 for 3s, and slow down the push.
Flashbacks, man. I remember the old days when Host was playing Drow Ranger. He would get that Frost Armor creep with a Dominator and just solo Roche, but Na'Vi smoking his Radiant into the pit very early, only 11 minutes in, a free Aegis.
LGD too late to contest.
Calling aggressive shots. LGD were actually intending to smoke, but they've missed their window, at least for the pre-Roche fight. Do they go for the post-Roche fight? It seems desperation may be setting in because they're walking into the Aegis. It's a good time to fight. General does not gotten the mech yet in that sense.
There's no Sanity's Eclipse, though.
Maybe, yeah, only level 7. And oh, they went right into a silence! Aggressive's gonna drop after this false promise. Can he get a kill out of it? Seneko, low, will fall, but it's 3, 4, 5, all dead! LGD, another team wipe. It's feeling over. How do they turn it? You're in Na'Vi home turf. The crowd, every time LGD gets a kill, they still cheer Na'Vi, and when Na'Vi gets a team wipe, they lose their mind.
This is Drow Ranger strats in a nutshell. This is just the perfect game for it. It was the perfect last pick. LGD did not have a good draft for dealing with it. They didn't have that good hero to kind of break the gap, initiate, get on the Drow Ranger. They have an Ember with a 5-minute forward, but the interaction between these 2 heroes goes both ways. You've also got Silence coming out from Drow to help deal with, and also your timing beats the Ember Spirits. Ember doesn't even have his Ring of Aquila. He's trying to finish that. He's going to have to go for a very early game, drums, treads, anything he can get, and Na'Vi, they're already breaking the high ground at this point.
They're planting happy little trees to mark their victory as they march down mid, looking for the clean sweep here, en route to what would be their first grand finals, and especially their first one at Star Ladder in a very long time. They're now banging away at the melee racks. How do LGD engage into this damage? Just a couple right clicks. Even the Ogre can't stand against it, let alone Squisher here. So aggressive. Remnant's in, he's got none left in reserve and doesn't even hit a chains. Melee racks down, no commitment. If they don't go soon, it's Na'Vi who will. And Sep is low, silenced up, the Ogre's down, Xiao Wei 2, maybe next after the false promise ends. Can they even kill Seneko? No, he gets out. OD hammer dropped. And then trying for the banish.
Everyone is so
he
low
pops
in LGD.
after anyway. It was a good effort, but a triple kill for Dendy. Everybody is healed, and that's all she wrote. Na'Vi back to the finals.
What a dominant game number 2. Fantastic strategy, perfect execution. You can just see the excitement and happiness in the face of Na'Vi. They have bested LGD, a very strategic victory in game number 1, but you look at game number 2, you look at game number 1, that was the out execution. And then they come up with the draft, the strategy. They show they can not just outplay LGD, they can outdraft them, and this team is a fierce opponent for anyone in the grand finals.
You know, a lot of folks over the past year, maybe even year and a half, have joked about Na'Vi being back, but I think it is safe to say this Na'Vi is truly back. They have battled against some of the strongest teams in the world. There are a few faces missing here, EG Secret, some of the stronger looking Chinese teams, eHome comes to mind, but there's a lot of tough teams here. And Na'Vi has not only made their way to the grand finals, but at times they have looked completely dominant.
Yep.
LGD, just when you think they're picking up steam, they get shut down here in Game 2.
And it's a continuous climb because some of those teams you mentioned on here, at Dota Pit, Na'Vi, they beat Team Secret. Then they come here, they find themselves in the grand finals, maybe not quite with that EG Secret here, but they're beating teams on a very similar level, taking down the LGD team who looked almost unstoppable in the winner bracket, and they go into that grand finals almost as favorites.
Well, we're getting ready for the post-game interview. They didn't really say anything to each other when they got up, but they just had that look on their face. Na'Vi was pumped after that win. So not sure who we're going to have up for the interview, but whoever it is, I imagine they will be pretty excited. They still have business to take care of tomorrow, though, GoDz, as VG Gaming and LGD will be facing off. Winner moves on, and Na'Vi waits in the grand finals.
And Na'Vi have beaten both those two teams. A dominant 2-0 over VGR, where they just crushed the mid lane 2 games around. This series, not as dominant as the VGR one, but game 2, you feel like, okay, we just crushed them there. Game 1, you say, we played our best Dota. So either way, Na'Vi is to be very confident going to that grand finals.
And with that, over to Dendi.
Because people want to know it. Haven't you seen this Rapia line out there, or it was a strategy or something?
Well, it came unexpectedly.
But very, very nice for you, yeah?
Yeah, it worked pretty well.
And what was on the second map? It was a prepared strategy draft, or it was like, I don't know.
Oh, well, we were like considering picking that and this, and then suddenly Sonic like, boom, Draw Ranger.
That was a very great idea, I have to tell you. Thank you very much, congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we are super happy that we will. And we go to our analysis.